The long goodbye turned into a fond and sentimental hello again. It's not his home and native ballpark anymore, but the Rogers Centre, Toronto, endures as a bell jar for so much of the glory that José Bautista enjoyed in a gaudy career. Former Blue Jays slugger José Bautista returned to Toronto's Rogers Centre on Tuesday for the first time since joining the New York Mets. The outfielder says he will try to use his knowledge of the stadium to help his team. The Canadian press those studly seasons, those home runs, those bazooka throws, and over-the-moon bat flip. We said farewell to all that in his waning days as a Blue Jay, last autumn, that final home game when everybody understood the man who had been the face of the organization for a decade wasn't coming back. So that was a poignant adios at the end of an emotional September week, a mutual salute between the crowd and the player. Bautista, firmly refusing to encapsulate his Jays era, revisits splendors past, play the nostalgia card. He was still hoping, in a tiny corner of his heart, that it wasn't over. I knew the option wasn't going to get picked up. I didn't know that maybe coming back was totally out of the question. Article continued. Bella Witt was as close as Joey Bats came, on Tuesday, to cracking open his soul for the media. Read more. Jays Marco Estrada leaves in first inning with injury. Hello again, Prodigal One, a New York Met, for goodness sake. On this evening, it felt more like a happily ever after homage, even before the career video montage, as the unfortunately sparse crowd rose in a standing ovation. New York Mets right fielder José Bautista acknowledges the fans after a video tribute of his days as a Blue Jay. Steve Russell, Toronto Star, José. The musical chant version, in his first at-bat. He acknowledged the foo-for-all with a lift of the cap and the thumb, and a walk to first base and, seconds later, crossing home plate on his Drupal Cabrera's home run. Taught it up. By the time the curtain came down, 3 walks, 1 run scored, 1 turn-back time diving catch, a single and a 2-base throwing error that contributed to Toronto's 4-run 7th-inning rally to tie. The Mets, 8-6 losers after leading 6-1, really are awful. Article continued. Bella Witt was a mishmash night all around for Bautista, a mixed bag of cheers and some jeers when he just avoided being the last out of the game. This team and that player have gone their separate ways, and that often hurts in professional sports. Plenty of Bautista remains behind, though, in his stats and his records and, come the day, his name joining others on the level of excellence. On this evening, it was merely lit up in neon, along the center field fence. For a while. In his 37th game as a Met, patrolling his familiar territory in right field, Bautista looked neither too old for a young man's game nor washed up. Still fit and swarthy, with that signature Pirates beard that became a cutout novelty mask for fans. Still wry, with just a drop of vinegar. Gracious. But then we only ever saw him from the other end of the prism. The hate-ons piled up elsewhere across baseball. He thrived on being cast as the villain. Hours before the first pitch, there was Bautista, pointing out the quirks of the outfield fence to third base coach Glenn Sherlock, revealing state secrets about how the ball bounces. Really, there should be a non-disclosure clause about stuff like that. He wants to know where we can wave guys in. Old number 19, Gak, no. 11 now, explained, referring to the odds of going third to home on a hurl. Obviously I'm more than glad to do that. Just makes you realize how well you know this stadium. Take your inside dope and mosey along, senor. Intel is a two-way street, of course. It was intriguing, he admitted, to see how the Jays would pitch him, he the player who had spent countless hours in tit-for-tat brain-picking sessions with the Toronto moundsman. On Tuesday it was Marco Estrada standing 90 feet away, for only 2/3 of an innings, as it turned out. On Wednesday it'll be a particularly close former teammate in Marcus Stroman. No bets on the at-bats have been made, Bautista assured. José Bautista, wearing an unfamiliar No. 11 and the unusual blue of the New York Mets, signs autographs for fans before his first game back in the Rogers Centre. Steve Russell, Toronto Star, no. But it'll be fun. I don't know what Stroman will do. I think I've given him too many secrets over the years. From Stroman, inside the Toronto clubhouse, "That's my brother for life." Bautista didn't venture into the Jays' inner sanctum. "I think it would be in poor taste to go stand in the middle of their clubhouse." He did sidle into the Jays' gym, though, just to say hi, and, in the 30 paces or so between the media room and the bowels of the building, where a mid-afternoon press conference was held, to the visitors' dressing room, which Bautista knew from his pre-Jays days as an up-and-down pirate, he stopped frequently to shake hands, to share a few manly man hugs. This used to be his house, you know. After idling at home in Tampa in the off-season, not attracting much interest as a free agent, the 37-year-old said he had offers from National League teams, but didn't like them, "So I didn't pull the trigger and I did leave money on the table." Bautista has donned the threads of 2 NL clubs in the past 3 months. Still not entirely recognizing the man in the mirror after shedding his Blue Jays skin. "I don't think you ever do that, once you've played in one place for that long. You even feel like the other uniforms look strange on you." Restored to the MLB fraternity, first in a 12-pack of games with Atlanta, a disappointing chapter which he blames largely on having no spring training and rusty plate mechanics. Rescued, then released by Alex Anthopoulos. Then, less than 48 hours later, reeled in by the desperate, god-awful Mets. "I was on the couch at 2 o'clock, they call me. I was on a plane at 3:30, landed at 6:15. By 6:35 I was on the field trying to stretch. It was a crazy day. They called me when I landed, said if I was up for it they could put me in the lineup. I figured it would at least make a good story." Bautista gave lots of good story, when he was in the mood to talk and reflect. When he didn't leave reporters waiting at his locker for an hour post-game, a match of wills, who would blink first? More often, the narrative was out there, on the field, in the batter's box, on the bases. The Bautista epic, culminating in back-to-back American League Championship Series. Of course those are among his best memories. But there are so many, some of them quiet and intimate, others under the glare of superstardom. It's hard to pinpoint 1 or 2 moments. Obviously the playoff runs are great. But just the life experiences, the friendships, everything else that comes with it. I don't think you can single out a few moments out on the field. That would be unfair. As a ball player, Bautista could be, hell was, imperious. That was part of his baller essence. As a returning XJ, he sounded almost humble and grateful and a touch nervous. It's different, a little bit strange. I guess in this world and in this sport, you have to adjust and try to be comfortable in any setting you might find yourself. Once it starts, it'll be fine, just another game, but leading up to it, a lot of memories. Those are the things that last the test of time, the memories. Rosie DiMano is a columnist based in Toronto covering sports and current affairs. Follow her on Twitter, @RoDiMano.